into it. So they really got behind this group. 3 games in 7 days would kind of look like. So just credit our kids for looking down deep and get things going on the defensive end. We got stops and got out in transition. It's hard to play against those guys in the half court. We didn't want it to become a half court game. We were able to get some stops. So happy for our senior class. Amazing crowd. Just thank everybody that came out today from the bottom of my heart. You were the difference in this game. Just fueled our kids' energy defensively.
I'll have more in a moment.
Producing championship quality lumber is not an easy process, but at Everwood Preserving, it's our only process. Wood treated right. Everwood offers top-notch pressure-treated wood for decks, outdoor structures, commercial jobs, and more that you can build your reputation on. When it comes to quality, we're on the winning team. Visit your local Everwood dealer today and discover the difference for yourself. Everwood Preserving Incorporated, the official lumber of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
We've got you covered this afternoon for Alabama baseball and men's basketball later this evening all across the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Our coverage for baseball will begin at 3:45 p.m. against Jacksonville State, and for men's basketball with the 8 p.m. tip-off, Alabama against Mississippi State coverage will begin on the network at 7 p.m. Central. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Everwood. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
There you go. There you have it. We're back. We're live. Of course, it's brand new because it's a Tuesday. It's Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Welcome in, 256-576-4977. You can join us throughout the 2 hours. And the UNA Lions remain in first place in the ASUN standings as they take our good friend, head coach John Schulman and the Central Arkansas Bears out behind the shed last night and give them a good old whooping. 93-70, your final there. Jakari Lane doing Jakari Lane things. Daniel Ortiz and Lane, 20 points apiece. Lane had 17 of his 20 in the first half. Tay Fields, the other former Lehigh General, he was on triple-double pace for most of the night. He finished 14 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. The 9 assists marks a new career high for Fields, putting him just 8 away from matching his junior season total from Missouri Western State. And so there you go. That one never in doubt. The Lions outscore Central Arkansas 44-24 in the paint last night. And UNA now 21-9 overall, 13-4 in ASUN play to remain in a tie with Lipscomb. They are at home on Wednesday, and a win there would clinch at least a share of the ASUN regular season championship. So that is tomorrow night.
Yep.
So there you go. The Lions can clinch a share of the title tomorrow night.
Yeah, they can. And then, of course, tomorrow night is also the Lipscomb Bison. They were very impressive last night. They got some AT on ESPNU and thrashed Austin P on the road and won that game very impressively. So they hold serve. So these are the two teams that are tied atop the ASUN standings, and both of them have home games to end the regular season. And then I guess it'll come down to tiebreakers as far as who would get home court if they both made it to the conference
and
tournament.
And they split
finals.
the regular season matchups.
So we're going to have to go down the list there if they both end up in the championship game. I had Lenny Acuff on last week to kind of talk about their game coming up when their rematch with UNA, which UNA lost at Allen Arena. Lipscomb's been playing very, very well, but we didn't really delve into that. We just delved into how important
that unit
that it is that in the Atlantic Sun that it's on home floors.
Yeah,
each round is so the higher seed gets to host, and it's very, very important. And so and Lenny did reveal though that this is the last year that's happening.
They are going away from that. Yeah, that's what
they're going to have it on a neutral floor going forward. But like you said, it's a unique situation. And, and every year he's been in the league, the team that played at home in the championship game won it. So it's going to be big, and there's no question. But both teams have to hold serve. And, of course, Lenny Acuff is going to get our good friend John Shulman in Central Arkansas. So.
But you know what? Central Arkansas, despite rebuilding this year.
In year one.
And despite having to go through they've had a couple players injured. They're 8-22, 4-13 overall.
Right.
They did clinch a spot in the tournament, in the A-Sun tournament.
They're just going to have to travel.
They're just going to have to travel, and they're probably going to be be the last seat. So they're either going to get Lipscomb or they're going to get UNA.
We could be sarcastic with Coach and say Super Tuesday. Just have to travel.
Oh, are we going to have him on tomorrow?
Are we? I haven't planned yet tomorrow's show yet. Are
we going to have him on since we're having the game on?
I'm sure you could reach out to him. I just when I saw they got thrashed, I was like, I don't know what kind of mood John Shulman would be in to talk.
I think he's fine. I think he's fine. Judging by the text from over the weekend, I think he's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
He's probably already searching the portal. Probably, if I know John Shulman, and recruiting like a madman. So
that's your college skip ball from last night.
Well, yeah,
it sounds like Jeff.
Well, I don't know, man. I'm just being honest.
No, I know
because he's been through this, man. He built Chattanooga into a perennial power.
Well,
so
now
he knows how to win on that level.
But now I think college coaches, now you look at it, and if you have a bad year in year one, the good news is you can go to the portal and you can try to turn around your program, and you can try to turn it around faster than originally, you used to be able to. You would have to go out and have 2 or 3 recruiting classes, and you would have to try to build a team
Lenny has done that at Lipscomb. He did it at UAH, and he's still done it at Lipscomb. He's in year 6. He's gotten better every year, even though
you build it with high school kids and then get 1 or 2.
But when he first got to Lipscomb, we had not seen NIL in the portal really take off. That's really, to be honest to everybody, that's really what's happened in the last 3 to 4 years, not the first couple for Lenny. And he'd already started putting that, setting the foundation there. And he's built it the way he wanted it to. And now John Shulman, this is year 1 at Central Arkansas, and he used the portal at UAH and still recruited high school kids. But the one thing you do know is he knows how to win on the mid-major level. I mean, he was at Chattanooga for 13 years.
Yes.
So he's going to know how to replenish this roster.
Had to coach against some cat named Steph Curry.
Yeah, we've heard them stories.
Yes, plenty of those stories. But it's also, I'll say this, at the same time, too, it's also shortened the lifespan of coaches at a lot of places, because the expectation is if you can go out and get guys from the portal, now you're on the clock. Instead of 4 years, they're saying, okay, guess what? You got 2 years to turn it around.
Did you see Craig Smith? He got fired at Utah yesterday, and he's 7-9 in the Big 12.
And he's had an above 500 record.
In his 4th year, and they're firing him.
Overall, a above 500 record, and they're firing him. Now,
that's why I said John Shulman may already be, setting the stage for the transfer portal, already kind of looking into how a blueprint of how he wants to build his roster in year 2.
256-576-4977. That's the number to the phone lines. You can join us. Let's go out there. Mark, I believe it's Mark. Is that Mark from Spring Hill? Mark from Spring Hill.
What's up, man? How you doing? We got you, Mark.
Good morning, guys.
There we go.
Man, what's going on?
Hey, I was at 2 points I was going to say this morning. One is I keep hearing in the national media, and it may just be, people just wanting to stir the pot with the Nate Oates, that he'll be available at the end of the year. This is the kind of guy. I think Dick Vitale might even made a comment that, here's a guy that Alabama better make sure that they've done, dotted their I's, crossed their T's, and that seems to have a little momentum nationally. I don't think he's going anywhere, but I kind of wanted to know where the status of the new Coliseum, where that is, or is one, and your thoughts on, is it possible that there is a team out there that could take him away from Alabama? And then my second point, I'll hang up and listen, is this: Alabama with three teams that, if they can split, I guess the next four, they would have to play their way in the SEC tournament and do real well in it to be a 1 seed, wouldn't they, overall?
Well, I think they're still right there on the cusp of the 1 line, if not on it. I think if they go 3-1 in their last 4, they lock it up. Of course, if they go 4-0, but that's going to be really, really difficult when you're playing basically Mississippi State, who's a top 25 team, and then you're playing 3 of the top 5 in the country, and you're one of them. You're the 4th one. Fourth of the member of the top 5. They did slip to 6th in the rankings below Tennessee after that loss to Missouri, but still, I mean, they're playing the toughest schedule in America, so they're going to have the toughest schedule strength in Ken Palm. So, but I think if they go 2-2, they would still have a pretty decent shot at a 1 seed. But
Joe Lunardi still had them 2 days ago.
Yeah,
he had them as a number 1 seed. Now they were the 3rd overall number 1 seed, but they were still a number 1 seed. Florida was the 4th number 1 seed.
Yeah,
Alabama was the 3rd.
And so 3 of the top 4 from the SEC, because you had Auburn, Alabama, Florida, and then Duke. So I do think Alabama still got a solid shot. But I think the worst they can go down the stretch of these 4 games is 2-2 to hold on to it. And then they might have to do some damage, in the SEC tournament. But I think 3-1 would definitely lock it up, because that means to me that you split with either Auburn or Tennessee. I'm gonna use some some Carl Ravitch math. That would mean that you would have to split with Auburn and Tennessee. And if you beat one of them 2 and go 1-1, then I think you have a chance to have that 1 seed locked up. But and then as far as Nate Oates goes, I'm not even putting that on Dick Vitale, because Dick Vitale is just now getting back in the swing of things.
Right.
The one that's pounding the stone on that is Jimmy. He's not at Kentucky or Arkansas Dykes, so he's going to continue to pound the stone and say Alabama better be doing everything. Jimmy, just in case you haven't woken up lately and you've been on this show, but the longer that you team up with Carl Ravitch, the worse you get as a color analyst. And I would rather have Richard Hendricks on this show than you, because he's already better than you and smarter than you. And you were already fired as a coach at Arkansas because you were a failure. I know you're an assistant, at Kentucky, and you played at Arkansas.
Right.
But guess what? Nate Oates is not going to Indiana. He's not even in the mix there. And there's not another job open right now, whether it be Kansas or North Carolina, where people keep trying to connect him, because Hubert Davis is finishing strong at North Carolina and he's not going to get fired. And then Bill Self will coach for as long as Bill Self decides to coach at Kansas. And then, just in case you haven't seen, Alabama's building a $50 million, that fence you walked by, the one with all the construction going on.
Well,
that thing's gone from 20 million to 50 million. So it's going to be opening next year. And I'm going to give everybody continuous, video here on what they're building. Then he's going to have a state-of-the-art practice facility. And he's already had 3 to 4 raises at Alabama. I've lost count of how many he's gotten.
Right.
He's one of the top 10 highest paid coaches in the sport. Just so you may know.
Well, I'll just say this, though. The SEC has been a failure, because we are only 500 right now in the conference. We've only been playing 500 basketball.
I mean, it was an honor to have Dick Vitale, in Coleman Coliseum to do that game. But then when he had to work with Dumb and Dumber, that was a little hard to take. The worst play-by-play man in history, along with Jimmy Dykes, who's trying to get Nate Oates every job at Alabama. I mean, good grief. And just in case.
Well, you are ready to listen to the College World Series, aren't you?
Just in case. Mute. You might have Jimmy hadn't checked. Alabama has never had a basketball coach leave for another job. They either retired or got fired, okay? They've never had somebody make a lateral move and leave.
That's right, because Godfrey got fired, then took over.
Well, he would have gotten fired. He resigned before he
Right.
could get fired. And CM Newton retired and went to work for the SEC office, then came out of retirement to work at Vanderbilt, okay? And then Wimp Sanderson, he got fired, unfortunately, for those circumstances, resurfaced at Arkansas Little Rock. You know, David Hobbs got fired, Avery Johnson. Look, Alabama supports
Anthony
their
Grant.
basketball. Yeah, Grant's ball. But they support their coaches, okay?
Right.
It's not a bad job. They have a really good fan base. And so I get kind of tired of listening to guys like Jimmy Dykes who are trying to get him to take another job almost and act like Alabama's administration and Greg Byrne aren't doing everything they need to do. Like, take a Vivarin and wake up.
Oh,
I didn't hear him
look,
say
though,
Bruce Pearl was leaving Auburn
but
because
Nate,
he's staying because they're doing everything to keep him.
but Nate Oates has elevated Alabama to that point where,
So is Bruce Pearl.
yes. Well, Bruce Pearl's name was mentioned with Indiana. It's been mentioned a few
with
times.
Indiana. It's been mentioned with Louisville, and he didn't go anywhere, and he's not
Right.
going anywhere. And Nate Oates isn't going anywhere. Matter of fact, the biggest threat for Nate Oates, and I'll give Jay Billis credit because he has a pulse. If you want to look at, if you want to be looking at other jobs that Nate Oates might eventually take, he could eventually try his wares in the NBA. I hope not because it's garbage. But I mean, he's known. He has NBA people calling the Alabama franchise basically the closest to an NBA run organization in college basketball. That would be the bigger threat. Would be the NBA, not college hoops. Because to me, again, Bill Self is a lifer at Kansas. He will
Right.
coach there. Could he retire at the end of this year? I guess, but I very seriously doubt it because Bill looks like he's in good health. I know they're not having a great year, but Bill Self will be back. Trust me. And then Carolina, I've said it 1,000 times. Tell me the last non-Carolina guy to coach at Carolina.
Wow.
No, you can't.
No.
Because
No.
if you want to really get technical, it was Dean Smith. But where did Dean Smith go to college? Come on, Scott.
I don't pay attention to Dean Smith.
You don't see nobody. I ask this question a lot, and everybody's like,
I kind of
he
froze
played
up that
for
way.
Fog Allen at Kansas, for God's sake. But he didn't even go to Kansas because he was at Carolina. Every coach since has been connected to Carolina.
See, if I answered that question, I would have ruined your flow.
I don't know. But I'm just saying, it's just stupid.
Let's get a break in. Let me catch your breath. Let me let you catch your breath. When we come back, we'll talk more college basketball. I think it's because you shaved.
I don't know. I mean, like I said,
I
Coach
think
Dykes
you're
has been
feeling
nice
good.
to us before. I've interviewed him in person before.
Yes.
I've interviewed him on this show.
Yes.
But come on and get off the soapbox. You're doing it at every friggin' broadcast. Richard Hendricks.
Who, by the way, has come a long way. And he
Yeah.
has gotten so good.
Yeah.
So good to listen to on broadcasts.
He has. No question about that.
All right, let's stamp our first break in. When we come back, phone lines open to you, 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Still may be working on that wreck at Jordan and Maston Lake. It was a no injury. Picked up a couple of other no injuries now. 565 eastbound at Greenbrier and County Line near 565. Both of those should be pretty close to clearing as well. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Conference USA is bringing its premier basketball event back to the Rocket City. Don't miss the 2025 Conference USA Basketball Championships, March 11th through the 15th at the VBC Probst Arena, featuring 20 men's and women's basketball teams playing 18 games with CUSA titles and NCAA automatic bids on the line. Find out who's going to be putting on their dancing shoes. Tickets as low as $40. Visit Ticketmaster.com today to experience Conference USA hoops in the Rocket City, March 11th through 15th.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title, because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal. And we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beams likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Never miss 1 second of Charger basketball with the Charger Zone.
Murray attacks it, lobs it, jamming it down. And Daniel Saylor on the alley-oop right out of the gate.
Only on 97.7 ESPN.com and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Welcome into the show. 7:21 on a Tuesday morning. Another beautiful day in the Tennessee Valley. It's going to be about 69 degrees today. Another beautiful day expected. So safe travels into work, into school, wherever you may be headed on this Tuesday. Let's go out to the phone lines. Let's visit with Alan this morning. Morning, Alan.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Hey, I was watching the Lipscomb Austin P game last night. They showed a graphic where UNA would win the tiebreaker if they both finished tied. I don't know how that works.
Gotcha. Appreciate that.
And but Lipscomb looked good. Looked really good. That I can't pronounce his name, but that guy's good. Number 41 for Lipscomb, and then but UNA is playing well, and that's a good illustration of if you're patient as an administration. Coach Pujol, he had some tough years, and now they're 20-9.
Right,
got a chance to go to the NCAA tournament. But I just think it's been a great year. As far as Alabama, when Coach benched Mark there in the second half, I'm like, what are you doing? Because I thought LSU's guards were just all over him first half. But I understand what he did now, and it's definitely worked. But I was going to get you guys' feel how all that's gone down.
Well, I mean, I know you were just letting us know about the tiebreaker with UNA. I apologize. I was trying to kind of juggle on my phone there. What was the last question?
He's talking about Mark Sears and Nate Oates benching Mark Sears and understanding now why, and it was a good move.
I never worried that it wasn't. He had a bad half, and he didn't defend very well. And he's the best player on the team, and you're trying to get everyone's attention. And so, and really, it was with two guys too. People forget he also did not start Cliff Amore in the second half. He wasn't satisfied with either one of them. But Amore, he put him back in. He got nearly 10 rebounds in the second half. He played well. He didn't like, I guess, the body language and the reaction he got from Mark Sears. So, and he trusted the rest of the team to play, and certainly LeBaron Philon, who didn't start that game. He had an ankle injury, came off the bench and played well and made plays, made free throws. Aiden Holloway had a good game. And so it wasn't a pretty game, but they beat LSU. I think the final was 80-73. So they still won the game. And then Sears came back, played very solid basketball right after that. And now the last two games, kind of the difference has been playing him off the ball. I mean, they've returned LeBaron to the starting lineup, also playing Holloway quite a bit. They're rotating LeBaron and Holloway. And they're and Sears is getting some is not playing every minute, but certainly he's coming out, and they're using young blood there some, but they just wanted to play Sears off the ball because last year when they had Aaron Estrada was basically the point guard, and Sears would play off the ball. And that's when Alabama went on their Final Four run and played their best basketball. And so Sears, even though he's not the prototypical size of a two guard, he's a big time scorer, and he can still make plays. He did the other day on Saturday when they beat Kentucky, but he just seems to play and be in the flow better when he's doing that. And he's responded. I mean, he's had 35 and 30. Certainly has looked like the All-American everybody had him pegged to be. And the thing about basketball is it's kind of it's a funny game. Like if you get clicking, and you all of a sudden get the pieces put together, you can kind of transform yourself even in the middle of a season. Because 2 years ago, UConn, I want to say they lost 4 or 5 in a row in the Big East and didn't look too good at one point. But then by the end of the year, Coach Hurley had figured things out. They got really hot. They ran roughshod through the Big East tournament, and then they won their first national championship. And then they carried it over to the next year, and pretty much the entire year. Yeah, pretty much the entire year they were that good. But sometimes it takes a little bit to figure things out. So we'll see. But I think right now Sears is in a good spot. But I will say the other guy they need to get going is Grant Nelson. He has not been as good lately, and so it'll be interesting to see how he plays tonight.
We saw that last year, though, from Grant, right? I mean, it was a lot of peaks and valleys.
And it turned out he had a sports hernia. So, and then if you saw on the availability report, I guess is what they call it, he's probable. So
there's something you think there maybe injury-wise
I don't know
slowing
if it's
him
anything
down?
major. I think if you're probable, you're probably going to go. But, I mean, he's on there.
When I see the 5 from the opponent get one-on-one with him in the post, I get nervous, because he has a hard time stopping him sometimes. Do you think Philon, needs to be a better defender, or you just think he's young? Or, I mean, I think sometimes guards get by him a little bit too easy. But
I think he gambles sometimes. I think that's his biggest issue is he gambles and he ball watches. And when you ball watch, you take your eyes off your man, and a
lot of that could be freshman related.
I think a lot of it is that he is young. But I mean, he's extremely talented. He had a big steal and dunk to help Alabama start pulling away on Saturday against Kentucky, and they're going to need LeBaron Philon down the stretch, no doubt about it.
I really appreciate it. Really enjoy the show. I'm from the Shoals area. Started working over here last summer, and
cool.
Enjoy listening to y'all riding in every day. So y'all take care.
All right, thanks. Good stuff there. 256-576-4977. Let's visit with Richard. Good morning, Richard.
Hey, morning. So Drew said Nate to North Carolina. Is that what you're reporting, Drew?
Well, that's what everybody keeps sending me from every yahoo around them in America who claims to have sources and a blue check by his name, But
one thing on Dean Smith, he didn't play there, but he was an assistant when he was hired, so he did have a connection.
yeah. I mean, everybody
else has, I guess, been a player since then, but he was on the staff already. In 59 or 60, whenever he was hired, years ago. So, like I said, so he even had a connection because he was already working there.
Right.
When they hired him. So, since then, like you said, it's been all pretty much players since then. But like I said, he even had a connection to them. So you going tonight, Drew?
Oh, yeah. I'm actually going to do the double dip. I'm covering Jack State baseball against Alabama at 4:00.
Okay.
And then going to just mosey on over to the Coliseum because it's spaced out to the point where, the baseball game hopefully will be over in 3 hours. And then basketball starts at 8. It's the dreaded 8:00 tip off, not 6. So they're spaced out to that point. So
you better get your rest for tomorrow night.
Yeah. And so it's going to be a long one, man.
I'm going to go hang out with your friends on Saturday. I'm going to go to Knoxville Saturday to hang out with
you're going to Vomit Land.
Yeah, Drew likes that place. Drew loves Knoxville.
Yeah, I wouldn't go to that.
I'm going to name drop so I can probably maybe get a free meal or something. I'm going to name drop when I'm up there Saturday.
Yeah, go see Tony Basilio. Take him some Xanax.
I'm going to hang out with your Orange buddies on Saturday.
They're usually at Calhoun's or somewhere over there, man.
Drew likes Tennessee.
Yeah, I have respect for Rick Barnes, but, as far as Tennessee, the fan base, puking the floor.
Yeah, I have a feeling I may get a few cat calls there. So
you've been before, though, right? This is far from your.
I tell you what, I was out of state for I moved out of Atlanta. But what's funny is I've been to 3 or 4 football games there, and I've actually been to probably 3 regular season basketball games, and they had the SEC tournament there, and I went, and I've never seen Alabama lose. So I shouldn't go. Well, because this was back the last time I went to a football game. Peyton Manning was a freshman.
Oh,
wow!
Okay. I got you.
And then it was when Keith Askins went off on the SEC tournament, maybe like '89, one of the Wimp years. I went back to one of the, like Jason Caffey and McDyess year.
Yeah.
Now, tell you a funny one on that one. I was with Kerry Clark and we're at the game, and we had a really good team, and we're up like 20 or 30 at half.
Oh yeah.
And we're just killing them. This is before Pearl.
Right.
People start coming into the arena, and we're going, I know this is Tennessee, but what is going on?
Yeah,
it was a 2-for-1 deal.
Yeah.
The women were playing later, and they were coming to see the women play.
Right.
That's funny.
Yeah. No, I hope to see you there tonight then.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Richard.
See you.
All right, let's slip in Brandon real fast before the break. Good morning, Brandon.
What's up, Brandon?
Gentlemen.
What's up, man?
Good morning.
Hey, I saw the pictures of you, dude. You had your signs. You were, you were fired up yesterday in the Ham, man.
Yeah, me and Megan and Christy were all down there having us a time.
Yeah,
and
it looked like it.
If you've never had the pleasure of having fans behind you before that have never seen a player play before and never seen a team,
I have. It's fun. When in the years past when I've sat in the stands, it's really fun. Like I'll never forget watching John Petty as a freshman, and they ironically that year they had to play. I believe they had to play a local team. They played Madison County High School in the semifinals, and it was hilarious because John threw down some kind of double pump dunk or something like that, and he was a 9th grader at that time. And some guy stood up and says, "What is this? The NBA?" And
that would have been a Bubba Webster coached Madison County team, I believe.
They were really good back in the day. Yeah. Bubba Webster had it rolling. And I turned to the guy and said, "Well, that kid's a 9th grader. He's 15 years old." 15 years old. Yeah, that's pretty classic. So.
Well, we're watching the game yesterday, and these folks from RC Hatch have never had a dose of Ace Austin.
Yeah.
And if she does stuff that she is totally green lit on, and Ricky told everybody yesterday, "You're green lit. Everybody's got the green light. Do whatever you want."
Right.
And you don't usually see that, but he's on the record saying he's green lit everybody. And The first time she done this at a game with my wife gasped so loud that people looked at her to make sure she was okay. She's standing under the basket, and she will launch it 85 feet to the other end of the court.
Yeah,
with
pass the
reckless
ball. Yeah,
abandonment.
right. Yeah,
yes, I mean, Dukes of Hazzard horn should be playing when she lets this thing go. And she does this yesterday, and the woman behind me says, "The hell is this girl doing?" And I said, "She's passing the ball." And she said, "All the way down the court?" And about the third time she done it, the guy behind me, I can't repeat half the stuff he said. And he's like, "Who does she think she is, Tua?"
Yeah, it was quite a performance, man.
She does not give a crap. She will let that thing go the distance of the court to Maggie Jarrett and Olivia Law and never think twice about it. And Christy Curry's sitting over there, and I want desperately to ask her, "Coach, have you ever seen anything like this before? And what do you think about it?" Because the people that come with me to games, like our high school, our two coaches came to the Eider game and sat behind us. And she done that 2 or 3 times at the Eider game. And I turned around and looked at our coach and I said, "What do you think?" She said, she said, "In all the years I've coached basketball, ever seen anybody do any crap like this." She's like, "They will just throw rocket rainbows, and it's like second nature to them." And I said, "You got to have a player that you trust immensely to do some crap like that." And for people that have never seen it, and they're sitting there taking it in, sitting there saying, "What the hell is going on here?" It is entertaining. I mean, I was really nice to everybody. Didn't talk any trash. Patted people on the shoulder, shook hands. But that Aniston Star, did y'all see that story they put out?
Did not.
I saw the headline. I haven't had a chance to
Mark
read it.
Edwards would have wrote that.
So the guy sitting behind Mark Edwards stands up at one point when they're up 60 in the game and says, "Dear God, somebody get this girl out of the game." And that was the headline of his story. He said the guy finally got his wish. Get him out of the game. That was the kind of game it was yesterday. And he goes on in there to say, "Hey, the regional matchups, yes, they were really good. And these next games are not going to be really good. They're most likely going to be blowout.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Just enjoy it because that's the way it is."
Yeah.
Right.
That's how it is sometimes.
It is. I mean, that's just
all right, Brandon. Thanks for the phone call,
and I
bud.
appreciate it. She had, by the way, Scott, she had 32 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists, and 5 steals.
Yeah.
So she was unbelievable, and they romped a really young RC Hatch team. It's going to be win a lot of games in the future. But I mean, Spring Garden's on a mission right now, and they're going to play brilliant made school history. The Brilliant Tigers. Remember, we were kind of joking they should be the Brilliant Magicians, and we're just talking about because of the unique name of the high school here.
Right.
But they're the Brilliant Tigers, and they're having the best year ever in school history. Hadley Patterson's their best player, and she's an outstanding player. And they hit a buzzer beater at Wallace State to beat Marion County in 46-43, and then they won in overtime 54-51 over McIntosh yesterday. And so they're going to play Ace Austin and Spring Garden on Thursday at 4:00, and they've made a great run. But this, I think everybody has been thinking since that Elite Eight matchup over at Jack State with 2A defending champion Eider that was probably your state championship game.
You're right. All right, 7:36. Yeah, let's get a break in. When we come back, we'll slip in some college football conversation. I know we got a lot of basketball talk, and we will talk more. Let's slip in some football.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A quiet night across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures dropping into the upper 30s and lower 40s. Another day filled with ample sunshine across the area as we head into your Wednesday. We're also going to be a little bit warmer Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the lower 70s. Cloud cover should begin to increase across the Tennessee Valley as we head into Wednesday evening and then through the overnight. Early into Thursday morning, temperatures only drop into the upper 40s and lower 50s. We're also going to begin to see a little bit of rain move into the Tennessee Valley. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck showing 565 eastbound at County Line. I don't see any slowdown there, though. It looks like we got 2 lanes of traffic moving. Had a report 565 eastbound at Greenbrier. That area also looks all right. And we had Jordan and Maston Lake that may still be trying to clear. Do you need help with projects, leave coverage, or staff positions? Snelling can help with admin, business support, and accounting. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
I'm here with Vice President of Mortgage from Bank of Frank Ewing, John Kendall. And John, if you're hearing this commercial right now and you're thinking of getting a new house, boy, oh boy, do you guys have a deal.
We do. It's a grant. $25,000 if you're a veteran, $20,000 if you're not a veteran. This can be used for closing costs, down payments.
Very simple. All you have to do is give Bank of Frank Ewing a call at
256-507-9180.
And how long does this process take?
Oh, it takes just a few minutes, maybe 15, 30 minutes on the phone. We'll send you a link and you fill that out in your own time. We'll approve you.
Who would not want $25,000 for a new house? John Kendall, give them the phone number and online address one more time.
256-507-9180 or at bankoffrankewing.com.
It's Bank of Frank Ewing giving you $25,000 for a new house. Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green is an FDIC insured bank as well as an equal housing lender.
NMLS number 446707.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Sports Talk 24/7, 365. Your full-time sports station.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Doesn't anyone do any work around this joint anymore?
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Welcome back into the program. 7:41 on a Tuesday morning. I wanted to say Thursday. That's a good song too. Ever since we've started playing stuff like that, the weather's gotten better. So maybe we have a little bit to do with it.
We almost had an episode of Tool Time in here. Almost ripped our clothes.
We do need. By the way, that's on Netflix right now. Is it? Yes, they just put it on Netflix. The whole entire series.
Well, we need
Netflix.
Al's wood glue or something, man.
We need some Binford
or something. Some Binford wood glue.
Well, it wouldn't be just wood glue. It'd be like some Binford 4600 extra strength glue or whatever,
and with some wood nails or whatever the hell you call them.
Because this crap is falling apart.
We're managing, man. I just don't want to end up with a tetanus shot because of it. Because of a nail. Because of a nail. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I tell you what.
Oh man.
So okay, because we have had a lot of football or a lot of basketball to talk, and there is, well, you know what? Screw it. We're just going to talk basketball because there's a lot of stuff. There's football and basketball to talk about, but We talked in the beginning of the college football season that, you know what, there's going to be one or two teams that are ranked inside the top 10 or inside the top 25 that are not going to be there at the end of the year. Well, college basketball right now is going through its own version of that, because there is not one, there's not two, there's not three, there's not four, but there are 5 teams. When this week's poll came out, there are 5 teams that started the season inside the top 10 in the preseason poll that are no longer ranked.
You talking about college basketball?
In college basketball.
I would say one's Kansas.
One is Kansas. For the first time in 80 AP polls, Kansas is out. So there's one.
And Illinois?
Illinois, no. Illinois is, I believe, still ranked.
Oh, they really? I
don't know. I got to look and see. But
50 to do.
But
I wouldn't rank them.
Okay.
I'd say they smell rank.
No, it's not Illinois.
So Illinois is ranked?
I don't know if Illinois is ranked or not, but they are not. They were not ranked inside the top 10, I don't think, to start the year. They are not ranked. Illinois is not ranked, but they were not ranked inside the top 10 to start the season.
Gotcha.
This is just the teams that were ranked inside the preseason top 10.
UCLA?
No.
Okay.
So it's UConn,
North
Carolina, Baylor, and Gonzaga. All are no longer ranked, but those were all ranked inside the preseason top 10.
Right. And I should have thought definitely of UConn, because they have fallen on hard times. I know, Jeff from the Borough has been taking shots at Dan Hurley, but good God, the only reason he's doing that's A, because he turned Kentucky down, and he absolutely did, and B, because they've won the last 2 national championships and are just closing in on Kentucky's 8.
Right.
And are every bit as a bit of blue blood as Kentucky now, even though he hates to admit it.
But the AP poll, let's be honest, the AP poll in college basketball means nothing. It gives you a number, and it's great. Auburn, Duke, Florida, Houston, Tennessee, Alabama, St. John's, Michigan State, Iowa State, and Texas Tech. Those are your teams inside the AP top 10.
And look at the jobs done by Rick Pitino and Grant McCasland.
Yes.
And who's
you want to talk about transfer portal? St. John's is.
Oh, I know, but and who's the coach at? Where does Grant McCasland coach?
Texas Tech.
There you go.
I know that one.
You knew that one.
I knew that one, and I believe he had some NAIA or JUCO coaching experience.
He did, but he came from North Texas.
Yeah.
I had somebody ask me last night, who the hell is the coach at Texas Tech? And I said, Grant McCasland. He came from North Texas. So, and he's done a great job. I mean, in Texas Tech, under the radar, is a really good basketball job. It's just, they weren't able to hold on to Chris Beard. But I totally agree with Rick Pitino, though. I'll say it again.
He said it.
I don't care about a little bit of baggage. And to me, it's not even, especially considering the charges were dropped. It's not like he was breaking even NCAA rules. I mean, none of us condone domestic violence. But
Right.
again, the charges were dropped. If you're Indiana, you put up with Bob Knight for how many years? How can you not take a chance on Chris Beard? Right now, your program, I mean, and here's the funny part. This kind of reminds me of when Sonny Smith was about to was about to resign or whatever, or be dismissed. And he won the SEC tournament in 1985 and went on to the Elite Eight and still coached several more years at Auburn before, going to Virginia Commonwealth. But I mean, they were talking, they're going to dismiss Woodson. He's going to retire, and yet now they're hot and they may get into the tournament.
Well, look, there was a black eye surrounding Rick Pitino after the Louisville disaster in 2017. Remember, he was suspended 5 games.
Louisville.
Yes. The whole the lack of an oversight in that escort sex scandal at the University of Louisville. Rick Pitino had a black eye in college basketball. He had to go coach overseas in Greece.
Right. Greece.
Because he could not get a job here in college basketball. Nobody would take him.
And then he went to Iona College. And no, he didn't own a college. He went to Iona. That's one of my favorite stories. You've got to find that story with Jim Valvano when he was recruiting, and he said, "Ma'am, I'm from Iona College," and she looked at him and she says, "You're awfully young to own a college." Just one of the classics.
Oh.
But yeah, he came to Iona. He got them back to the big dance, and then he went to St. John's. And honestly, Rick's in his 70s. Okay, he's in his early 70s.
Yes.
I don't think Rick is going to take another job. He's a New Yorker. He likes being in New York. He's already got St. John's in the top 10 of the country. It's as good as they've been since Louis Carnesecca retired. Okay, I mean because they've really had a hard time finding the dude, and he's selling out the Garden because everybody loves Rick Pitino.
Oh yeah.
And so I didn't expect him to go to Indiana, but I think he's right. When you're talking about fit, I think Chris Beard is a fit because there's still a ton of people that love Bob Knight. And Coach Knight couldn't control his temper, but Bob Knight was one of the greatest basketball coaches to ever live. And Chris Beard, he might have a little baggage, but I don't think it's anything that's catastrophic. And I think he would be I think he's learned from it. I think he'd be a great fit for Indiana in the way they play and the way they want to be. I mean, if there's one guy out there that I think fits the Hoosiers, it's Chris Beard.
All right, 7:40. Let's get a break in. When we come back, on to wrap up this hour number. Time has flown by.
Well, Cam Ward's career is officially over because
Why?
Mel Kiper thinks he's going to the Browns with the number 2 overall pick. So, John,
yesterday,
his career is over, dog.
Okay, Mel Kiper, I mean, it's just a different day. Yesterday, he had him going number 1 to the Titans.
Did he?
Today, he's got him going number 2. I mean,
right.
There's so much time. The combine is this week. That's why this stuff is starting to heat up.
Here's what I'd do if I were the Tennessee Titans, dog.
Hold on. I tell you what, let's get a break in, and you can fill everybody in to end hour 1.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a new wreck on 53 north of Research Park. That one's reporting southbound blockage. No report of injury there. Gallatin and Lowe was a no injury. We had County Line eastbound at 565, but looking at that area, that one does not seem to be causing any problem. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. You can make it safer for them. Slow down or move over. It's the law. Captain Neck in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
It all comes back to money.
Visit our store right now at zonedeals.bigdealsmedia.net to take advantage of all the best deals in the Tennessee Valley. Or just go to our website, 977ESPN.com, and click on the Zone Deals logo to start saving right now.
Now, as to the price.
These deals won't last long, so get yours now. Zone Deals. You'll thank us later.
A man who could easily afford to buy a vowel.
In Tuscaloosa, we live by the blue-collar basketball motto.
Stepping back, deep three,
hard work.
2-on-1, driving, stepping through, stop, shot, got it to go.
Teamwork.
Playing the song for the champions of the Southeastern Conference.
Join us for every game right here on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Listen to UAH Charger basketball all season long.
So when we came out of the timeout, Coach Hedge had initially called a man play, and they ended up faking a zone. So the whole bench was yelling zone, zone, zone. So we tried to switch the play last second. We ended up getting confused. So Tommy swung it to me, and I initially was like, all right, I'm going to try and get to the rim right here. We're only down 2. We don't need a 3. And he flipped his hips real hard, and I tossed it back, and as soon as I let it go, I knew it was in.
Campbell to plug it in. 81-79 Union. Inbounds it goes. Dribbling it out, and Tommy Murr swings it over to Campbell. Campbell on the wing for the lead. Oh, my God! Blake Campbell! There's a 3! Into the front court for the win! No good! No good! No good! Blake Campbell with some onions from Jackson, Tennessee!
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Are you trying to find a new house? Are you trying to find the right loan, the right people to do your loan? Look no further than the Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green. John Kendall, the Vice President of Mortgage with me. John, when they need a loan, and I say they, when people need a loan, it's about them.
That's right, Scott. Our whole motto is it's all about you. We're going to be okay. You're the one making the investment. We want to make sure that you're taken care of.
How do they find you?
Give us a call at 256-507-9180, or they can catch us online at bankofFrankEwing.com.
It's Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green, where they take the home loan to you and they make it all about you. Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green is an FDI insured bank, as well as an equal housing lender.
NMLS number 446707.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama, located online at universitykia.com.
Oh, this is easy. This is the Who. There we go. Teenage. All right.
The NBA, in other words. This should be the NBA's new song. It's a teenage wasteland.
That's good. That's good. Oh.
But as we were going to break,
yeah,
I was
okay, you were talking about, yes. So Mel Kiper's having his draft boards coming out. By the way, here's a little thing for you.
Right.
Let me make sure I got to get this straight. And speaking of the drafts, the combine does start this week.
Yeah,
okay.
it does, yeah.
All right. There are 4 in-state schools that have players going to the combine that got invites.
Right.
4 in-state schools.
Mm-hmm.
You know the 4?
Alabama, Auburn.
There's 2.
Jack State.
Jack State is 3.
Troy.
Bum. No.
Dang it. Alabama A&M.
Alabama A&M.
I got it on the second try.
Remember they had that lineman. They had that lineman. He was invited to the Senior Bowl.
Right.
And also headed to the combine as well.
Nice. Alabama A&M with an invite. Sam Shade trying to get some more of those cats.
Carson Vinson is an offensive lineman from Alabama A&M. He was at the Senior Bowl, the only HBCU player invited to the Senior Bowl, and now he is also headed to the NFL Combine as well.
So he's a baller.
Yep.
Maybe he can be the offensive version of Robert Mathis.
All right.
No
but
pressure.
To your point, though, the Titans should do what?
Draft Travis Hunter #1 overall. He's the best player in the draft. I would play him offensively full time, defensively, situationally.
Right.
And then trade for Kirk Cousins because they've got Will Worthless, aka mayonnaise in your coffee quarterback, who's not very good in my opinion. And you don't have a lot of money tied up in Will Levis. Okay. So to me, now you would be making a commitment for a couple of years to Kirk Cousins because of the money that he's being paid by the Atlanta Falcons. But I still say, and I've heard Aaron Rodgers' name mentioned because they've mentioned Aaron Rodgers, his next stop if he doesn't retire. But to me, it would probably cost less to bring in Kirk Cousins. And he's younger by 3 or 4 years than Aaron Rodgers, I believe, Scott. So if I'm the Titans, then I would trade for Kirk Cousins because I'll be honest, he was coming off of an Achilles injury. I didn't think Aaron Rodgers looked that great.
Right.
I think he's just about done. Cousins got hurt last year, but before he did some good things for the Falcons. You've already got Calvin Ridley under contract. and you'd have Calvin Ridley, Travis Hunter. You had a good defense last year. You just need a competent quarterback. If I'm the Titans, then I go get Kirk Cousins and I draft Travis Hunter. I don't draft Cam Ward, who I think is overrated. I actually think probably Shador is better than him, but I wouldn't take either one of them number one. Ain't no way in hell.
All right. Well, that's 2 hours. That's 2 hours of fun. Well, not 2 hours. That's an hour. I can't even keep track of time. Man. I'm getting us out of here after 60 minutes.
I know. I was like, is the show over?
It is now. It is now. We're going home.
I mean, I got to call my guests and tell them we ain't calling.
I was wondering why we hadn't had anybody on.
I've been distracted all hour anyway, trying to juggle and avoid getting, a tetanus shot.
I mean, I don't know. Can you get tetanus shot from these little nails?
I don't want to find out.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For a limited time, GBank is offering a $250 bonus when you open a GBank Visa Signature Card. Apply today at vsin.com/GBank.
Alabama Crimson Tide 18-1 with the SEC regular season title, laying 8.5 at home at Mississippi State today at the Coleman Coliseum. 171.5 the total. Auburn minus 1,100 to win the regular season title. They're at home with Ole Miss tomorrow. College baseball today, the Auburn Tigers a $2.38 favorite over the Samford Bulldogs. Mississippi State a $1.75 favorite against Troy plus 135. NASCAR this week, it's the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas for the Echo Park Texas Grand Prix. Connor Zilich and Shane Van Gisbergen, the 5-1 co-favorite. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. Their locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Good Lord, it's just coming out. It's just sliding out.
That doesn't sound very good, Scott, by the way.
I can't help it.
There might be some people thinking you're on the Playboy channel.
I'm not there. I'm just saying that
Brian probably thinks we're crazy as hell, by the way.
Well, he already does anyway. So,
well, I mean, he was good enough to join us with about friggin', 40 minutes notice. So we appreciate that very much.
We are very thankful for that. And
it's a relationship business, you know.
It is. But this desk is falling apart. It needs some wood glue or something, or a hammer.
I don't know. I mean, hey, by the way, Brandon didn't bring it up. By the way, the floor started coming up at the Legacy Arena yesterday. Yeah. They had about a 15-minute stoppage, and they did get a hammer out and hammer the floor back in place because Brandon sent me a picture. He said, we are hammering the floor here at the BJCC. We are taking a hammer to the floor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not just Ace Austin.
All right. Well, anyway, hey, I tell you what, the Auburn, God dang, it's like I can't do anything. This damn desk falling apart. The Auburn Tigers do not play tonight. They will be on the court tomorrow when they take on Ole Miss at home. Right now, Auburn, I mean, just
they're finishing up their 3-game homestand.
They are. They're finishing it up, and Johni Broome, we had the debate yesterday, not the debate. We brought up the conversation yesterday.
It's like a poll question.
Is it Johni Broome? Is it Cooper Flagg for
It's one of
Player
the
of the
two.
Year? Johni's having a fantastic year, but he has a chance. Johni Broome has a chance down the stretch because Auburn has some big games left. They have Ole Miss, Kentucky, Texas A&M, and Alabama. If Johni Broome goes out and doubles like he has been, I mean, to me, that is a stretch of three ranked teams down the stretch that you're playing that he has a chance to cement his case for Player of the Year.
Yeah, because I was listening to Paul Biancardi last night, and he was making the case for Cooper Flagg because he's 17, almost 18 years old, but who cares? I mean, the thing is, and I love Cooper Flagg. I'm a Duke guy, but Johni Broome plays in the toughest league in the country. And if he's just got through coming off of his best game of the year scoring-wise against Georgia, if he goes on some kind of tear and averages 25 to 30 points, in this last 4 games, I don't think you can deny it because he's playing in the toughest league in the country.
Right.
Now, the one thing you can say for Duke is they beat Auburn, but that was earlier in the year, and their stat lines were nearly identical, so they both played very well. But I think right now, Johni Broome has a chance to make a huge statement, and we're going to talk about that and more with a man that's shown a lot of patience and listened to our diatribe this morning, and that is since 2001 covering the Tigers with Rivals.com, Auburn Sports, and that is Brian Matthews. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Do I need to get my toolbox and a hammer and some nails and come on up there and help y'all out?
Do you have some wood glue?
I do.
We have this brand new set, and the dumb thing is falling
to a new place,
and the dumb thing is literally falling apart before our eyes.
And hell, I'm not a builder myself. I don't really know about Scott either, but we've been making tool time references the whole show. So
we said there's got to be some Benford X35,000 wood glue super strength or whatever out there
that that Tim won't glue his head to the desk.
Yeah.
But what about it, Brian? I mean, we had this debate yesterday about the National Player of the Year. You've been blessed to cover this team all year. You've seen Johni Broome a ton in person. He's coming off, you could honestly say it's his best game of the year when they beat Georgia 82-70. Yeah. Now you're talking about the last stretch, the last 2 weeks of conference play. He's got a chance to make that statement and cement National Player of the Year.
He does, but I think he's already pretty much locked it up. That's my opinion. With all respect to Cooper Flagg, who's a great player, going to be maybe the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft.
Mm-hmm.
But as you said, Johni Broome is the best player in the best league by far in the SEC, and some people are saying this year's SEC might be one of the best conferences of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to give it to Johni and what he does night in and night out. Just incredible season he's put together, fought through a shoulder injury, fought through the ankle injury.
Yes.
I think just now he's getting back to 100%. So he's been amazing.
He really has. And I got a chance to see him up close against Alabama. He was outstanding in that game. Their team was great. I mean, it was as electric an atmosphere as I've ever been a part of, and Auburn won that game. And they have a chance, legitimately, to go 17-1 in a league of this caliber,
which would be crazy. I did not think going back a month or two that any team was going 17 in anything. I thought, 15 games would probably be enough to win it. Maybe 14,
15-3, something like that. Maybe at the best.
And maybe that's what happens, right? Because we're not to the finish line yet. And Auburn's got some tough games, and so does Alabama and Florida too. So, and they all play each other: Auburn, Alabama, Florida, Alabama. So, yeah, we'll see how it works out. But Auburn is close to clinching this thing. They could technically do it tomorrow night if everything goes its way. They clinch at least to share the title. I don't think that's going to happen, but they're 2 wins away.
So this season has been a stretch. Bruce Pearl really loaded up the non-conference schedule. It was big game, big game, big game. But Brian, is these final 4 games, is this the toughest stretch for Auburn in a little bit? Because it's Ole Miss, at Kentucky, at Texas A&M, and then Alabama. Is this kind of like how they started the year with a tough stretch to finish it?
It is tough. Texas A&M is not as good as I thought they'd be when I looked at the schedule, preseason or once we get started. But it's really tough. I think, you go back to Georgia. They come in here with a week off. They come in here with a zone defense, and Auburn has to fight tooth and nail to beat them. And I would not be surprised if it's the same thing with Ole Miss, again tomorrow night. So that's just the way Auburn Teams are coming after Auburn right now, and Auburn's not quite playing to the level, not hitting their shots enough where they can put teams away and sort of coast into those final 7-8 minutes of a game and get those walk-ins in late. Maybe they start popping shots tonight and that happens. We'll see. But right now they're just sort of grinding through it.
Yeah, I even said this after the Georgia game. We talked about this Monday when we were reflecting on the weekend that even puts a bigger spotlight on what Jonai did this past Saturday when he carried the team. In other words, like they picked it up when he was hurt and they still managed to win games and they grinded stuff out. But, he turned into Superman on Saturday. Like, hey, guys, I know we're struggling offensively. We scored 24 points in the first half, but, I can carry us. I can get us going because you don't see Tahad Pettiford go over very much from the field. Nope. I mean, to be honest with you, when I saw the box score, I was like, wow, that's the first time that's happened all year. And he only hits 2 free throws. That's the only offense. And then Chaney Johnson gets in foul trouble. But that's what great teams do. Then Jonai Broome turns into Superman.
Yep, Miles Kelly's had a couple of off games here. He'll probably bounce back tomorrow night. We'll see. But that's what Auburn's done all year, whether it's a player out with injury, whether it's a player not playing as well as normal, somebody else steps up. That's what's great about that team. They got 7 players that are playing the majority of the minutes, and those 7 players could start for a lot of other teams in the country, and that's giving them a strength. But I wouldn't necessarily call Auburn a deep team because they're not really playing or they're not giving a lot of minutes to 8 and 9 like some teams are able to do. So that's why I think they got to get to the end of the season, maybe stretch those minutes out to some other guys in the SEC tournament and be as ready to go as possible once we get to March Madness.
Brian, over the last few games, the defense has really carried this team. Yes. And it's been a staple. And that was one of the weaknesses of this team last year, was in big moments, the defense just kind of disappeared. This year, the defense has been coming. Is there any concern, though, that the offense may be kind of sputtering right now and that they need a game or two to get it back on track?
I mean, I think so. I think they're okay. I just think they're just missing some shots and they may have some fatigue going for them. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But, sometimes teams go through this, right? Auburn's, had open looks. They run their offense efficiently. They scored around, was it 50-something points, I think, in the second half against Georgia, which is good. And Ole Miss, if I remember the game at Ole Miss earlier, I believe Auburn got a lot of open looks there, knocked down a bunch of threes, if I'm not mistaken. So, I think that's a possibility. But defensively, I think Denver Jones, going from being a good defensive player to one of the best in the country, bringing in Miles Kelly, who's got the length there on the perimeter, Chad Baker-Mazara taking another step forward there. They're just really able to go at teams' best players and put Denver Jones on them, put a lot of length against them, and make it really tough for them to get uncontested shots, whether it's from 3 or whether they go inside and try to go against Janai or Dylan or Chaney. So defensively, this team is really, really good, but they do expend a lot of energy playing that defense too. And I think that's one of the reasons why they may be a little bit fatigued at this point.
Well, and then Bruce also said that Denver got in foul trouble in this last game too. He had to take a little bit of a
really
break.
picky fouls. Yep.
He had some interesting things to say about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he was happy at all with it. Yeah. Yeah.
No doubt.
The Georgia guard, I can't remember his name. He's really good, really talented, but he has a way of kind of getting contact to him and getting calls. And I think Bruce was like telling the refs, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. It happened, and they still kept calling the fouls on Denver. I think that frustrated him probably, but that's just the way it goes sometimes,
Yeah, I mean, it is. You have to kind of play through it. But see, that's my point with this Auburn team. Anytime they've needed it, that's when the Chad Baker-Mazzaras of the world, even though he's not a point guard, but he's an older guy that's played a lot of basketball. That's when you're being old. And Auburn's an old team. I mean, they're veterans and they figure it out. And so I think
10 seniors and fifth-year guys on this team, scholarship guys. Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So it's probably Bruce's oldest team, and that's what I admire about them, is because they're gritty, they're tough, and they just seem to figure it out. They figured it out when Jonai was out for a couple of weeks. They were able to continue to do a nice job and more than tread water. And I think with the situation there, I think Auburn will be fine. But kind of talk about this rematch with Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a dangerous team. They've been struggling a little bit too. They didn't finish over in Nashville against Vanderbilt. They're still solidly in the tournament, but a lot of these teams now, I mean, it's a good problem to have as a league, Brian. You're trying to stay out of the 8-9 game. And what I mean by 8-9 is in the NCAA tournament. You don't want to face, which means one of the SEC teams would very likely have to face Duke in the round of 32. So if you're Ole Miss, you're trying to stay out of there.
Yeah, every team in the SEC is fighting for something, right?
Right.
Auburn's fighting for the championship.
That's right.
Almost every team down to 13 and 14 are fighting to get in the tournament and get off the bubble or get a certain seed. So this is going to be a ground war here for the next 11 days. It's hard to believe it's 11 days to Saturday in the March 5th in the final game. But in that first game against Ole Miss, Auburn shot the ball really well. They had some problems defending Padula, I think his name was. I remember he went off just driving in, right, penetrating it into the rim. He was really good doing that. So that's something I'm sure they're going to need to work on, slowing him down. And, Ole Miss has some pretty talented bigs. I think Breakfield's a pretty good player. The Dia kid's a pretty good player too, from what I remember.
Yeah, he's from Belmont.
Yeah. So, but I think this is. I don't think Ole Miss plays the type of defense that Georgia or who was the game before Georgia? My head is full of stuff now.
Arkansas.
Arkansas. Yeah. So
he's the people like that. I think they're a good defensive team, but you're right. I really don't think I know Dia is a good player, but I think Auburn has a distinct advantage inside when you talk about Jonai Broom and you talked about him getting healthier and healthier. Dylan Cardwell, an underrated guy, Chaney Johnson. I think Auburn has a distinct advantage inside.
They do. They definitely do. And that they should be able to control the boards fairly well, get some offensive rebounds, get some easy buckets as they do. And just the key for them is just going to be knocking down those shots that haven't really been knocking down. And, maybe they can get a nice win to go into this big road game at Kentucky next week.
And we got to get your thought. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be on Saturday in Rupp.
Yeah.
Now, This is a banged up Kentucky. Now, we had David Sisk on yesterday and just talking to the Kentucky contingent, and it's still large in the media when we're in Tuscaloosa on Saturday. Not a lot of optimism, even in Rupp Arena, to beat the Auburn Tigers.
Well, I watched that game, a lot of Alabama, Kentucky, and I just was not impressed with the Kentucky. I was impressed with what Alabama did to them, right? But I just did not like what I saw from Kentucky, the way they played. I know they got some key injuries, but their best player fouled out, I think, didn't play very well. So credit to Alabama for putting that on them like they did. But yeah, I'm just wondering what's going on with Kentucky right now. They don't look like they're playing at their best as they usually are this time of year.
I know we got a lot of basketball talk, but Brian, I just looked at the calendar.
Right.
Yes.
And it's hard to believe we have a whole month until Auburn starts spring football.
Yeah, and in the last, I say, decade or so, a lot of times spring football was starting in February, at the end of February.
Yes.
And Auburn is fitting its spring practice between March 25th and April 12th, I believe it is. I don't know if they'll go past April 12th for some closed practices or something. We'll see. But it's going to be a really tight window there.
Yeah.
And then April 5th is going to be the Final Four that weekend. That's the two semifinals. It's also Auburn's Big Cat weekend.
Oof.
So that if Auburn can make it, that's going to be one heck of a day for Auburn athletics. We'll see how that goes.
Are you going to tell me that the intern's going to win the coin flip and he'll go to the Final Four like he got to go to Tuscaloosa?
No. There's no coin flip this time. I'm planning to cover this team as far as they can go. So we'll see how that goes.
So when spring practice hits, obviously Jackson Arnold. Yeah. Hopefully we get our first look at him in an Auburn uniform, running an Auburn offense as well.
Yes, I think there's going to be a big competition. I think people are downplaying Deuce Knight a little bit, and I think he's got a chance to come in here and do something. So I would not rule him out. Certainly Jackson is the guy you expect to win the job or you expect to be the front runner. But I've heard a lot of positive things about Deuce so far as his maturity for a freshman, leadership, willing to put in the extra work to learn stuff. So I just got a feeling this kid's going to be maybe even better than people are expecting. So look out for him. a lot of competition, I think, on the offensive line. They're going to have 16, 17 guys, scholarship guys, and they're competing. Two transfers coming in there, a bunch of guys with starting experience coming back, and wide open at running back too. So there's going to be a lot of fun competition for starting jobs in the spring.
Sound like it's going to be a busy one, and you're going to be busy today too, because Plainsman's Park, 25th ranked Auburn baseball, 7-1. They take on Samford today.
Yep. Don't know much about Samford, but I expect they're usually a pretty good, solid baseball team and play Auburn pretty good. Troy played Auburn. That was a great game last week. So I'm competitive game today. So I'll be out there, and then I'll be at basketball tomorrow night.
Are you going to sit out there on the left field wall now, up there on the left field wall to watch a game?
I want to cover a game from up there. That looks like fun. But I want to get up there when it's SEC play. There's a bunch of students up there drinking some beer. So, one might accidentally fall into my hand. I can't, there's nothing I can do about it. I can't be responsible for that.
What Brian's going to do is he's going to take us some Uncle Keith's red sauce, and he's going to say, look, some chips and
he'll trade the chips and salsa
for some beer.
That's a great idea.
See,
I'm definitely going to do that.
Is on this show. There you go.
Absolutely.
Well, Brian, we appreciate it on short notice, man. You do great stuff. Let everybody know. Again, you just kind of foreshadowed it, but let them know how to connect with you at auburnsports.com.
I appreciate it. You can follow me on socials, BMattAU. You can sign up online at auburnsports.com. Check out our message board, The Bunker. Bunch of crazy folks like me on there, right? And, of course, my Monday Musing sponsored by Uncle Keith's Red Sauce, Piggly Wiggly, Renfro's, Publix, statewide, BMAT25. That special code in February will get you 25% off your online order.
All right, Brian.
Sir.
Always
Appreciate
good to
it.
see you on Zoom.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
All right, Brian Matthews. He didn't know. He said he would drive up here and fix. Look, I used my keys.
Yeah.
And I pushed all the nails back in.
I'm trying. I'm over here. It's a little bit dicey.
I got them back in. I don't know how long they're going to stay. Well, that didn't last long. This damn thing is falling apart.
I'll do it on camera. The Al Borland.
Let's get a break in so we can temporarily fix this thing.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Looks like we've got a bit of a backup coming westbound across Chapman down toward Oakwood. Haven't heard of a problem in there, but that traffic is definitely running slow. Had a wreck at 53 in Research Park, actually north of the intersection on the southbound side. And we had Gallatin and Low downtown that may still be trying to clear. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. Ask about their military, law enforcement, and senior discounts at D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
We aren't a winning school. We are a championship school, and we make legends. Join the Crimson Tide as they look to continue to rise to the top of the NCAA basketball mountain. Every game, all season, right here on your home for Alabama basketball, the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Been thinking about what kind of truck you need to pull that big boat or shiny Airstream Classic? I'd like to invite you to feel the torque of an F-150 Power Boost Hybrid. It combines the forces of gas and electric power for over 11,000 pounds of towing muscle. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, where you can test drive over 200 new F-150s. And you can save up to $13,500 off MSRP on a 24 XLT 4x4 with the Power Boost engine. Save over $13,000 on F-150 today. On your way to a growing family or already have one? Then a Woody Anderson Ford Expedition is your ticket to ride. Save up to $12,000 off MSRP on a 24 Expedition at Woody Anderson Ford. $12,000 off Expedition. And there's more too. Get up to $8,000 off MSRP on the Agile and Sporty Escape ST line. And with a versatile 2024 Edge, you're looking at up to $10,000 off MSRP only at Woody Anderson Ford. Bring on the savings. I'm Bobby White, and I hope to see you soon.
Here in North Alabama, barbecue is a part of what makes our home so special, and great barbecue from Lawler's makes it just that much better. Since 1978, Lawler's has been serving up their delicious barbecued pork, ribs, chicken, ham, and turkey for generations of family get-togethers. Recognized as the best barbecue joint in Alabama for 2 years in a row, Lawler's is thrilled to share their award-winning barbecue for your next family meal or catered event. Order online or stop by any one of their 14 area locations. Lawler's Barbecue, cooked slow, served fast.
We are your home for March Madness.
30 seconds to go. We're tied at 90. Here comes Suggs. Long three for the win.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Instruments.
Yeah.
Low rider.
Man. My friend, the low rider. Love this one. The low.
One of those passed me the other day. Some truck. Wasn't one of the drunks on the interstate that tried to run me off the road. Had a couple of those.
That seems to happen to you quite a bit.
Well, hell,
that's why you're not driving tomorrow.
Man. I'm going to be coming back at midnight tonight for damn sure.
That's why you are not driving tomorrow.
Hell no, I ain't driving. I'm going to be sleeping.
Yay. It doesn't get to happen.
Or whatever. I'm going to be relaxing something. I'm sure not going to be driving.
So we just had Brian Matthews on. He'd let us know and just reminded us that Auburn does not start spring practice until March 25th.
Mm-hmm. And it's condensed. It's March 25th to April 12th.
Yeah, they're cramming it all in a little session, which is fine. I mean, lots of times you go 3 days a week, you space it out.
It's basically 3 weeks.
You kind of space it out a little bit, try to get as much as you can. But I mean, it's still 13 or 15 practices. It doesn't matter if you do it in 15 days or if you do it in 2 months. I mean, it's the same. Missouri will start their practices on Friday. They start their spring practices, 13 practices on Friday. They let it be known yesterday, too, that they are not going to have a spring game in 25 or 26. No spring game. So they join Texas, USC, Nebraska, and Missouri with no spring games.
Cares? I mean, they don't show much in a spring game anyway. I know some of it is paranoia among coaches because they don't want to show other teams on television, their players.
So we laughed last year at what Ole Miss did. We laughed at it, but it's now
it's a 7-on-7 thing.
But it's becoming now a thing in college football. So was Lane Kiffin ahead of the curve?
Teams are going to scrimmage. I just think they're not going to allow TV cameras.
You know who's pissed at this the most?
Who?
Agents.
Probably because they're trying to poach, they're trying to move their
because they got
around.
Guys that they could potentially get into other schools for a little bit of cash, and now they are not going to get that chance to do so. They're not going to get to showcase it on TV.
If I'm a coach, you don't have to have a spring game per se, like on television.
You can have it in your facility.
You can just scrimmage and don't allow TV cameras. It's real simple. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have every game on TV in the fall, and that's the most important part. That's when the games really count. But in the spring, you're building your team. Yeah, you don't have to allow TV cameras in there.
Now, Texas
to me,
and
it's not
Nebraska,
that big a deal.
Texas and Nebraska have come out and said specifically that because of the changing landscape in college football, they don't want to do this. USC's rationale is
they
that
probably don't want to tackle since they're soft anyway.
Well, it's unnecessary injury concerns.
That's another word for it. Sponsored by Charmin toilet paper.
Charmin's actually pretty strong.
It's soft. About as soft as USC.
And this desk.
You in the desk. I mean, good Lord. I mean, I'm having a few problems here, but jeez. I really hope you don't end up at the urgent care clinic there, Scott.
We could just take it off.
Well, I don't want to do that. Hellfire, you'd have nails everywhere, man. Just put that sucker on in there.
I could say something, but it wouldn't be very good.
I know.
I'm pushing it in, Captain. It just won't stick.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
256-576-4977. A couple minutes if you want to join the program this morning. Just got to catch my breath there.
Yeah.
College football, don't forget, the college football playoff commissioners, they begin their meetings, and actually they are just going into the rooms right now. It is expected to go until 4 o'clock today. They are doing that in Dallas. The agenda, again, it's focused more on operations and a possible changes to the 2025 playoffs rather than 2026. The Big Ten and the SEC, remember, they want straight seeding in 2025. It takes a unanimous vote for that to happen. They've just walked into their rooms a little bit ago, and they are expected to go until 4 o'clock today. Don't know if anything's going to happen today. Don't expect anything to happen today. This is probably one of those try to figure out what's on the table, try to figure out what is going on. But I can tell you that is what has happened, and it's going on right now. So there you go. You might get your wish of reseeding the college football playoffs before this is all said and done.
Yeah. Well, and Brandon missed our segment. You know, he sent us the picture again of the hammer in the floor over at the BJCC. I said, you just missed that. We've been doing tool time the whole show.
Yeah, it's not you pounding on the desk today.
Not,
it's us
not
trying to pound the desk back together.
I didn't break the desk.
No, it's about us trying to pound the dumb thing back together.
Yeah. No,
because I've got four.
Brandon's telling me he thought you were ho-hum today, and I'm trying to explain that you were just agitated.
Oh, I'm not ho-hum today.
No,
I am far from that.
He's channeling his inner Tim the Toolman Taylor, and it's just not working.
This is not like last Friday where I just mailed the dumb thing in for 2 hours and said, forget about it. I didn't care. This is far from that.
Yeah.
This is far from that. This is just trying to put the dumb thing back together.
Yeah.
This is like Humpty Dumpty.
Sat on the wall and the Humpty Dumpty took a great fall, like the floor at the Legacy Arena yesterday.
Well, that place was a dump before long. I mean, at least they fixed it up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just talking bad about all these places that I've been to and everything else. But anyway, let's get a break in because we do got to get one in. I'm sorry, I've been talking to the coaches there at Central Arkansas.
Yeah, because we're setting up. We're trying to get John Shulman tomorrow, and of course it's a shoot around tomorrow.
Yeah, there is a shoot around tomorrow, and I had to get the time for that. Yeah. All right, let's go. Robbie Falk's going to come up next. We're going to talk some Mississippi State basketball. The Bulldogs need some wins in a big way. Robbie Falk will fill us in why next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Storton Dressman. A fantastic Tuesday afternoon across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 60s. We also get to enjoy plenty of sunshine. Dropping into the upper 30s, lower 40s as we head into the overnight. Early into your Wednesday morning, a sunny sky. Wednesday afternoon, we're going to see temperatures consistently climb into the lower 70s across the Tennessee Valley. Dropping into the upper 40s, lower 50s as we head into the overnight. Early Thursday morning, a little bit of rain is going to move into the Tennessee Valley during that time. Rain should be out of here by the time we get to the lunch hour on Thursday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Storton Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Conference USA is bringing its premier basketball event back to the Rocket City. Don't miss the 2025 Conference USA Basketball Championships March 11th through the 15th at the VBC Probst Arena, featuring 20 men's and women's basketball teams playing 18 games with CUSA titles and NCAA automatic bids on the line. Find out who's going to be putting on their dancing shoes. Tickets as low as $40. Visit Ticketmaster.com today to experience Conference USA hoops in the Rocket City, March 11th through 15th.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Sounds like we just got a wreck, 72 west of County Line, no injury reported. Had eastbound 565 near County Line. They did report that one with an injury type.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. Welcome back into the show, 8:34. And I apologize to everybody if it seems like I have mailed in this show today. I have not.
You need a hammer, man.
Hey, John Rothstein is throwing out a tweet, and this goes to exactly what we're just getting ready to talk about, okay? John Rothstein put this tweet out 3 hours ago.
Right.
Okay, so I can't borrow the stat from him. I'm sure it's in the game notes. Alabama has not lost to Mississippi State since January 15th of 2022. That's 1,137 days ago. The Crimson Tide have won 7 straight meetings entering tonight's showdown in Tuscaloosa.
Well, they were very fortunate to escape Starkville just a few weeks ago. It was an 88-84 win. Basically, it just came down to a missed opportunity in the open floor. Well, it was really a Cliff Amore block. I think he got a small piece of the basketball. With the for when Mississippi State was trying to finish down there. It should take, which would have been, it wouldn't have guaranteed a win, but it would have given them a 1-point lead with under 10 seconds to go. And in many cases, in those scramble type situations, that's the way to win a basketball game. But it was a very high level game. There's no question about that. I was very impressed with Mississippi State that day, and really it looked like they were turning the corner until Norman, Oklahoma this past Saturday. In other words, trying to solidify a top 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. Now this is a meat grinder of a league. Chris Jan's team coming in. But I will say, Alabama may have won 7 in a row, but they better be ready because Hubbard put 38 on them the last time. This is a very, very capable squad at Mississippi State, and we're going to talk about that with our next guest who has done a great job covering Mississippi State since I've known him. He's, of course, with On3Sports.com with Paul Jones, and that's the Maroon and White Daily. He also covers prep sports for the Starkville Daily. Does a great job with that, wearing those 2 hats, and it's Robbie Falk. Also, the Thunder and Lightning podcast with Brian Haydad. Still watch that as much as I can. They do a great job breaking down the maroon and white, and he's been kind enough to join us and talk some hoops this morning on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Robbie, welcome back to Huntsville. You were Drew and Scott. How are you? We got you.
Robbie, we got you, buddy. Rob, you got your ears on good, buddy? I'm probably going to have to see if we can get Robbie back on the phone lines there, because that little click there means he's not there.
Right.
But anyway, it is a game tonight, and if you are looking, I believe – so Joel Lenardi will get ready to put his newest bracket out today.
Right. He does it every Tuesday.
He does it every Tuesday. Alabama, again, still sitting at the 1 line in the Midwest region, this time still in Lexington. He still has both Alabama and Auburn sitting as 1 seeds in Lexington, which would be really great for everybody to go see basketball, because you could go to see that. But Auburn in the South region and Alabama in the Midwest region, which, by the way, is in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So that's still a great drive for both Tide fans. The South region is in Atlanta, so Tiger fans would love that. So if they both stay on this quest, that's a great landing spot for both teams.
Yeah, and speaking of, again, Robbie Falk on 3 Sports, Starkville Daily. He's been kind enough to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline to talk some Mississippi State hoops. Robbie, we appreciate you hanging with us. Sorry about the technical difficulty there. How you doing, man?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
we got you now.
Got you now. Hey, we've been having desk issues, man.
Oh, we
Our
have
desk is
all
coming
kinds
apart.
of stuff.
We've been referencing tool time all day. It's been.
We thought we forgot to pay the phone bill again, which has happened in the past.
The one thing we were following the example of you and Brian Haydad on Thunder and Lightning is have fun. So we've been trying to have fun all day and make this an interesting show.
It has been.
You got to. You got to do it.
Yeah, you do. Well, talk about Mississippi State. It's been a roller coaster ride. They're still firmly in the top 25. They're still firmly in the field. But I think you and Brian kind of referenced it this weekend after the disappointing loss, which surprised me in Norman, Oklahoma. You're trying to stay out of the 8-9 line in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, you are. And you're trying to find some consistency. It just feels like this team is so up and down. Had 2 really good ball games against Ole Miss and A&M.
Yes.
And then you revert right back to where you were with Oklahoma. You give up 59 points in the second half, which is just, oh my gosh. I mean, what we saw it the other night with Missouri, they were able to do that. But Oklahoma's towards the bottom of the SEC, and Mississippi State, that's a game that they should win. And they came out flat in that game. They went to the motions in the first half. They gave Oklahoma a breath of life. In the second half, Oklahoma just could not miss, and State couldn't get stops. And it just became a battle of, State having to make up some ground there late second half, and it was too much. Those are the games that knock you down to a 6 or 7 seed when you can have a pretty good draw in the NCAA tournament, and also the SEC tournament too. I mean,
right,
that's going to be a monster in Nashville, and you want to have the best draw there. Although that is not going to be all that important in the grand scheme of things, but you do want to win and continue to improve. So it's a grind, man. This is probably the last, really, really elite team that they're going to play in the regular season. I think Arkansas is going to be a tough team. You never know with LSU and Texas, but this is kind of, you get past this one and you play really well and you feel okay going in the back half of the last games of the season. But State's got to be playing better basketball, especially on the defensive end.
Yeah, is that been the weakest part? Is the defensive side of the basketball, and has that been a surprising setback?
It has been kind of surprising because, as you guys know, you probably followed enough basketball and you've seen Chris Jansen up. I mean, that's his calling card is you're tough on the defensive end. They defend. They can really guard the 3-point line. This team has been one of the worst in the country at guarding the 3-point line. It's really been baffling, but it's been something that's killed them the entire year. And if you look at the losses, the teams that make 10 or more threes, they beat Mississippi State. State is 17-0 against teams that they hold under 10 3-pointers made.
That's a good stat.
2-8. against teams that make 10 or more. I've been talking about this for several weeks now. Alabama, they hit 15 3-pointers last time they were in Starkville. Ole Miss hit 14. The State won that ball game against Ole Miss, but that's the outlier. They lost to Kentucky, who hit 16 3-pointers. Oklahoma hit 11. Tennessee hit 11 or 12. So it's just been – that's the battle that they've been facing all year. Every loss they have, a team has made 10 or more 3-pointers. If Alabama hits 10 tonight, I think they're going to win that game, and they probably run away with it. So State has got to do a better job defending. And if they do defend the 3-point line against these teams, they have an excellent chance of winning, but that's been the issue.
Yeah, and it's interesting because this is but I would categorize watching this Mississippi State team as being a better offensive team than the one a year ago. I mean, Tulu Smith was a guy. They kind of played inside out. They played a slower pace this year with Josh Hubbard. He's had moments where he definitely looks like a first-team All-SEC guy. He certainly did against Alabama. Keyshawn Murphy, who nearly had the dunk that could have won the game against Alabama in Starkville. He's had a good year, leading rebounder for Mississippi State. They've got I like their perimeter guys a lot. Now, I will say this, though, and I know you and Brian made reference to this. Kubel has got to be better. He's the one that's kind of been struggling down the stretch.
Yeah, Kugel is kind of your X factor. If they could ever get him consistently performing, it could be some special things. But that's been the problem. It's been Josh Hubbard and Keyshawn Murphy, and really it's been tough to get anybody else going. And Claudell Harris, they put him on the bench. He's coming off the bench. He's played significantly better basketball the last couple of weeks since they did that. They made that move against Ole Miss. And Ole Miss in A&M, he had good ball games. And I thought he played pretty well against Oklahoma as well. Keyshawn has been probably the most consistent guy they've had in SEC play. Josh is their leading scorer, obviously, and he's had the higher highs. But Keyshawn is just consistent with, 18 and 10 or 16 and 12 and shooting, 7 of 10 from the field. He's just been really good down the stretch of the season. And I think last time I was on here, I talked about how much he had improved.
Yes.
I think he's gotten even better since we talked last. So, that's been big. Josh has really kind of come back into his own, and he's really expanded his game. He's become a well-rounded player. He defends better. He's running the point, and he's really been a good point man for him after they lost Kanye Clary. It's just getting these other guys going. RJ Melendez, he's starting to score a little more. Get him going a little bit. Riley Cook's got to be more consistent. Those are the guys that are going to take Mississippi State, from where they are right now to winning a game in the tournament.
Well, Joe Lunardi just has his new bracket come out. He has Mississippi State as a 7 seed right now in the tournament. And Robbie, you mentioned the fact that after tonight, you mentioned that schedule. The good news is after tonight, 2 of their next 3 to end the regular season are at home. That LSU game's at home. The Texas game is at home. The Arkansas game is on the road to wrap it up. So after tonight, you've got to take care of business at home.
Yeah, there's no doubt. You got to win those 2 at home. Arkansas is going to be tough. I think they're playing good basketball, and we know how difficult it is to win. But Walton, the State's kind of had their number in recent years, but nobody's had Mississippi State's number like John Calipari. Bulldogs have won 1 game against John Calipari since he took over at Kentucky, and now he's at Arkansas. We'll see if that carries over there. But the home games are the big thing for State. I think they can go 2-2 and be possibly play their way into a 6th seed. But they're going to have to win those 2 home games. There's no doubt about it. You're looking at quad 1 game tonight. LSU and Texas are going to be quad 1 games. There's going to be quad 2. And Arkansas, I think they're in the 40s. That's probably going to be a quad 1 as well. It's like the Oklahoma game. It doesn't really kill you if you're Mississippi State. It kind of frustrates you a little bit. You felt like you were making a move into a different direction, and you kind of reverted back. So from a metric standpoint, that loss doesn't hurt you at all. You lost by single digits in a quad game. I think tonight, if you can keep this within single digits, it certainly is a good thing. You'd obviously want to win it, but a single-digit loss at Alabama as a top 10 net team, that's going to, I think, maybe even improve your metrics a little bit, and then we'll see what happens in the next three. But tonight's a big game. My expectations for it are pretty low because State struggled against NATO. They've struggled against Alabama, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, they're certainly capable. I mean, they offensively, they certainly were able to match Alabama. And I thought, Alabama defensively has taken some steps back in the last few games and a little better against Kentucky, but still it makes you uneasy, especially with the shot-making ability and a guy like Hubbard, a guy like Keyshawn Murphy, who had 18 in the game against Alabama. So they definitely have guys that are capable. And if you're Mississippi State right now, it's not just the seed for the NCAA tournament. You're battling Kentucky to stay out of that 9 hole so you don't have to win 5 in 5 days in Nashville.
Yeah, that's kind of the key, too, is you really want to get that second. That's going to be really difficult to get through. But, at the end of the day, I like the SEC tournament is going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. That's obviously for Mississippi State, you're not on the bubble like you were the last 2 years. I don't think it's imperative for them to go to Nashville and perform really well.
Right.
I hate to say that because you want to win every game, but I don't. That's not the goal to win the SEC tournament. The goal is to be healthy, have a good season in the NCAA tournament, and maybe that is winning a game there. But you do want to, get into that tournament and have a decent draw and not have to fight your way up the ladder, so to speak. But yeah, and by the way, I'm really looking forward to that tournament. I think it's going to be perhaps the most exciting we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just because this year has just been nuts.
No doubt. Now, before we let you go, last question. We're talking to Robbie Falk on 3sports.com. The Starkville Daily does a great job covering prep sports also in the state of Mississippi. In your mind, if State's going to end this 7-game slide to Alabama and pull this upset off in Coleman Coliseum, what must they do tonight?
I say this every time they play Alabama. They've got to make it their style of game. They've got to muddy it up on the defensive end and execute on offense. They need to out-rebound Alabama. They need to defend the three-point line. If Alabama is able to knock down, open looks from 3, it's just going to be really difficult. It's hard for me to imagine State going into Coleman and having another game where they're scoring in the 80s or the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that's not what this team is. That's not what Chris Jan teams are. And you can usually tell very early in the ball game what kind of game you're going to get from Mississippi State, what kind of style of play, and if they can kind of, get a stranglehold on the game. And that's the challenge. And you're facing a team that almost always forces you to play their style of play. So that's what's going to happen for State to have a chance.
Well, we appreciate you, man. You do a great job. You and Brian Haydad love the podcast Thunder and Lightning. Of course, great work with On 3 with Paul Jones and that crew. But let everybody know how to connect with you.
Yeah, man. You can follow me on Twitter at Robbie Falk on 3. We have the Maroon and White Daily YouTube channel. I have some thoughts that I give on there, and then we have press conferences, things like that. MaroonandWhiteDaily.com for all things Mississippi State sports, and then the Thunder and Lightning podcast wherever you podcast.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Robbie.
Appreciate you guys.
Let's get that final break in. Tomorrow's headline is going to wrap it all up.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Sounds like we just got a wreck, 72 west of County Line, no injury reported. Had eastbound 565 near County Line. They did report that one with an injury type. Got County Line and Madison Boulevard, no injury reported. Working Doug Hill and Teague Road as an injury type. And had 53 north of Research Park with some southbound blockage. No hose, no mask. Dr. Sandman has the medically proven benefits of the Somnodent for sleep apnea and for snoring. You can get that information from Dr. Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Eck in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
We aren't a winning school. We are a championship school, and we make legends. As they look to continue to rise to the top of the NCAA basketball mountain, on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Are you trying to find a new house? Are you trying to find the right loan? The right people to do your loan? Look no further than the Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green. John Kendall, the Vice President of Mortgage with me. John, when they need a loan, and I say they, when people need a loan, it's about them.
That's right, Scott. Our whole motto is it's all about you. We're going to be okay. You're the one making the investment. We want to make sure that you're taken care of.
How do they find you?
Give us a call at 256-507-9180, or they can catch us online at bankoffrankewing.com.
It's Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green, where they take the home loan to you and they make it all about you. Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green is an FDI insured bank, as well as an equal housing lender.
NMLS number 446707.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, so here's your schedule today from Birmingham.
Be careful. I don't want you to need a technical shot from our good friends at Sportsnet.
I don't know if they could give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 nails out here right now.
What a show we've had today.
We've nailed this one to the floor.
And we don't even have our sign above the door.
We've got to find the sign. We've got to find the sign. Either that or Tokyo needs to make a new one so that we have it above the door.
He's already on it.
He's already on it.
Yes, because it's got to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a staple when we first started over at Woodson Street. When I first started over at Woodson Street, it was a staple above the door.
Steve told me that. It was rough beginning for me.
Yes. And then when we moved over to, well, I don't know, whatever we want to call it, the attic, the clubhouse.
What was that? The Chronicles of Narnia?
Yeah.
You were in the closet.
But anyway, we had a little, so there was a little sign, and it was one of those signs that you could take the letters off and on and pin it up there.
It was almost like you sunk my battleship.
Right.
Yes.
What is it? B4?
Yeah. B4, B5, B6, B7, B8. You sunk my battleship.
Yes. Oh, I love that game.
There you go.
Anyway, the schedule today, 3A girls, 3A boys, 4A girls, 4A boys from the BJCC. Good luck to Lauderdale County, Sylvania on the 3A girls side. Good luck to Mars Hill Bible on the 3A boys side. Good luck to Plainview, Good Hope, Brooks, Plainview on the 4A boys and 4A girls side. Good luck today, all from the BJCC. A lot of basketball action ongoing there at State Basketball Tournament. Check out our website, 977 ESPN. There's write-ups from all of the action from yesterday there if you want to read it all about everything.
Congrats to all the winners yesterday, including Spring Garden and Ricky Austin will join us tomorrow morning.
All right, guys. John Shulman going to join us tomorrow as well. We're going to talk some Central Arkansas basketball.
Some Whitgully
former UAH coach.
Who knows?
Tom Abraham here for the Spring Home and Garden Show presented by the Huntsville-Madison County Builders Association, March 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Von Braun Center South Hall. And not only will you find celebrity guests, a family fun zone for the kids, and some great ideas and products for the home, you'll also find the Tom Abraham